So, if I may right away speak in English, I would like once more to really warm-heartedly thank Elia Kazan for coming here, getting tired with all the interviews he's had in the last days, signing his book. Mr. Kazan, it's great to have you here. For this press conference, we are going to be kind of helping it with two experts. First of all, on my right side, Michel Simon, president of the French Critics Association, but also film historian, and a man who has wrote books, done documentaries, knows a lot about Elia Kazan, is a friend of his since many, many years, and who, of course, will help. And to my right, Wolfgang Jakobsson, who is responsible for the film archive here, the program of the retrospective, and the homage which we are dedicating this year to Elia Kazan. So I would say questions, put your hand up, and then we can start. Yeah,
maybe we can stop the photographs, don't we?
Ja, je demande is ob Sie langsam auch hören. Mit die Blitz. Nein, mit die Blitz wäre...
We can't have the conference.
No. Der ist eine Bitte, dass Sie mindestens mit die Blitze aufhören. Entschuldigung. I've told them to at least stop with the flashes. So there was one question there. Yeah, bitte, please.
Mr. Kazan, mein Name ist Mark Herapetian vom Spirit Magazin. Ich wollte erstmal mich bedanken, dass Sie überhaupt in Berlin erschienen sind.
No, one moment.
Okay.
Yes, all right, English.
Gut, also ich habe mich ja schon vorgestellt, Mark Herapetian, Spirit Magazin. Ich freue mich, dass Sie nach Berlin gekommen sind. Und meine erste Frage, die bezieht sich auf den Film Amerika, Amerika. Für mich Ihr schönster und persönlichster Film. Ich habe den am Freitag jetzt in der Retrospektive gesehen, in der Originalfassung. Und ich wollte fragen, ob das eigentlich schwierig gewesen ist, die Geschichte der Armenier und Griechen, die vor den Türken fliehen nach Amerika, das in Hollywood durchzusetzen, wie die Atmosphäre am Set war, bei den Dreharbeiten und wie die Reaktion der türkischen Regierung auf den Film waren, die da irgendwelche Ressentiments hatten, weil der Völkermord an den Armeniern ist ja immer noch nicht anerkannt worden.
A bit unhappy about that because the genocide of the Armenians has never been recognized officially.
I don't know what the question.
No, there are three questions. There are three questions about America. Was it difficult to impose it to Hollywood, to make Hollywood produce that film with that kind of subject? And what was the atmosphere on the set? And what was the reaction of the Turkish government?
We had trouble getting the money for the film, which is always the case, and especially in this case. We had finally had a friend at Warner Brothers. If you flash the bulbs, I'll quit talking.
No, it's...
Don't flash the bulb. It hurts my eyes.
So normal in
If you want to hurt my eyes, flash the bulbs. I say we found a friend by surprise at Warner Brothers who put the money up for us, and we made it. We had no problem after that because we were in Greece and Turkey here and there. It was not a problem. But later it became a cause célèbre. They said, how do you get the money for it? And we did, that's all. I don't know how we did it.
And the Turkish government?
Oh, the Turkish government never said a word. They didn't respond to me anyway. Maybe I heard nothing from them.
That question here. Microphone here, please.
First of all, Mr. Kazan, I just want to say how thrilled as a member of the press corps I am to be graced by your presence. And secondly, you have worked with some of the greatest actors in the history of the cinema, and I would love it if you could pick three of the actors that you've worked with and share some insight, something we don't know about these three actors, that would really raise my eyebrows.
You want me to say which of the three I like best?
No.
No, one of them. No, one of them. The ones you like best are the ones who have a good part and a good director, and the thing turns out, and then they look like geniuses. But in general, you can't say one is better than the other. In this film you're going to see tonight, Baby Doll, you will see two of my oldest friends, oldest companions, actors. They're both very good. And there's Carol Baker too. She's brilliant. And you'll see them. But I tell you one thing, what you'll see in that film is different than the usual film, because there's a sense of pleasure of the actors in the sense that there was at the Actors Studio, where everybody was improvising, and it was pleasurable to make the film.
There's a question to the right now.
Herr Kazan, Ihre damalige Aussage vor dem Untersuchungsausschuss für unamerikanisches Verhalten bleibt als ein schwarzer Fleck in Ihrer Biografie. Wie beurteilen Sie diesen Schritt im Nachhinein? Sehen Sie es als einen Fehler an oder stehen Sie heute noch zu dieser Entscheidung?
Did you understand that?
About an American Activity Committee, what do you think now about this?
How do you judge it
Do you
today?
think it's a mistake or?
No, I don't think it's a mistake, or not a mistake. It was what I did. I was a member of the Communist Party, and I did for a year and a half, and I didn't like what I saw, and I spoke my mind. I don't like many of the things they did with other people, but they never bothered me. What else?
Mr. Kazan, once in an interview you said you didn't really ever love acting by yourself. And what I wonder is how you could reach to the interior in spite of this sort of disgust of acting the interior, to see the interior of the actors.
You said that once in an interview you said that you did not like acting yourself, and how did you manage to get inside the actor's personality, to get all this?
How
from
could
them?
you reach to be so sensible?
I think I got inside their personality. I learned about their characters, about their home life, about their personal life, and very soon we became friends. It's easier to direct someone who's in intimate things you know than an abstract person. The actors were all my best friends. You're going to see two actors tonight in Baby Doll. They're the closest friends I ever had. They're people that not only are good friends, but also worked with me at the Actors Studio, and there was no problem with them.
You want to take off your earphones?
What?
You want to take off your earphones?
Yes.
And we translate it? Maybe it's easier for you.
Yes.
Okay.
What else?
Ja. Vielleicht sage ich ihm erst was in Deutsch. Wir haben ihm seine Übersetzung weggenommen. Falls Sie Fragen in Deutsch haben, machen Sie die kurz, und wir würden das übersetzen. Entschuldigung, das Praktische dran.
On the
Sorry.
stage, I'll keep on with the English translation for
Today, Mr. Kazan, versus Hollywood in the 50s. What do you like and what do you not like about what you see going on? And be free with your criticisms.
That's a good question. I don't go there now. I have a son who works there. Nick Kazan works there, but I don't go. I don't know what's going on now. From what I hear, I would like it less, but maybe wrong. I don't know. I don't have any problem with it because I write books now. It's a different life for me.
What about the films?
About the films, on the whole, I don't think much of them.
Mr. Kazan, would you pick a few of the films that you've seen within the last 5 years that you've particularly enjoyed and comment on them?
She's asking for about 5 films which you particularly enjoyed over
In the last years, the film that you have liked, that you have seen in the last years and that you liked.
That's a horse race. My 5 films I like most. I don't
just
like that.
mention a few you liked. A few you liked.
Which ones did I
Not the
like?
best, not the few you liked.
Which ones did I like? He knows. I don't know.
There's a question down there.
Herr Kazan, Sie haben als Kind ein Jahr in Berlin gelebt.
As a child,
Welchen Bezug
you
haben Sie
lived
heute
for
zu
1 year in
Deutschland?
Berlin. What's your relationship these days to Germany?
And what you think of Germany today?
Oh, I think Berlin is beautiful. I love the streets are very wide. The people are lively. I like Berlin very much. I went up and down the street, and we went again to see the the arch.
Unter der Linden.
You know, I like Berlin very much. But when I was here before, it was directly after the war, and the streets were down. The amount of wreckage was terrible. I didn't see how they're ever going to build it again. And I was very impressed that so many good changes had happened. I had made a film in Munich, and then after the film in Munich, I came directly up here, and it was frightening, the amount of wreckage I ran into. Berliners have tremendous energy, I find. Berlin people have tremendous energy, and I feel it all through the city. Potsdamer Platz, what's going on there is fantastic, the way it's being built up again. Yes?
Mr. Kazan, if for you it is difficult to say what film you like best, for us as film critics it's not at all difficult to tell you what film we do like best of yours, of course. So my question is a bit different. That is, you were always a challenger in the American cinema. You were the first to approach certain very difficult themes, and the first one, that is immigration problem, the trade unions on the front end, and in your absolutely splendid movie, The Visitors, that it was the first signal about the Vietnam, the GIs returning for Vietnam. I would like you to tell us how could you be always initiating so many trends in the American cinema and initiating them at a very high level? I do thank you.
What'd she say?
She's asking for the trends you're initiating, and she's especially asking for the film The Visitors, which is about the Vietnam veterans.
And also, every time you choose a subject, it was something new, challenging, like the trade union in all the waterfront, the Vietnam in the visitors. You were first in dealing with difficult subjects. So
yes,
I was. Can you explain this energy?
I was the first to deal with many difficult subjects in America, not in the rest of the world, but I did. We read something in the newspaper one day, and I spoke to my son about it, and he wrote a script called The Visitors. So I myself read the papers very carefully. I get much inspiration from the papers and not from anything nearly as much. And that film was made from what I read in the papers.
And how do you explain your desire always to challenge?
Well, I was a member of the Communist Party for a year and a half, and the whole philosophy was to make America better or change America, so that was part of it too. And then later I left the Communist Party. I disliked it. I thought it was wrong, and but still I had that same idea of what can I do to help America. My whole philosophy was to make America a better country. I love America, and I want to make it a better country, not show off. I live there. I'm happy there. I have a wife and children there. I have a lot of children, 6 grandchildren. I want them all to be well off. Does that answer your question? No. But anyway, it's very hard to it's very hard to answer questions. Really, I'll do my best. But if I don't answer your questions, I have on my right one of my best friends, and ask him.
Or read his autobiography, which is really the best autobiography by a film director, I think.
You have it? Yeah. Well, I don't see it in the bookstores here. Get one of your publishers to print it.
To translate it, yes.
To translate it and print it in a paper edition and a hardback edition and get it out to people. It's a darn good book, I tell you. I like it myself. I look at it once in a while and say, how did I ever get so smart I could do that? What else?
Not always the same. It's a new question, I think, there.
Bitte.
Yeah.
No more questions?
No, wait.
Sie haben mehrere wichtige Auszeichnungen bekommen im Laufe Ihrer Karriere.
You've received
Was
many
bedeutet Ihnen
important
dieser
awards
Preis
in your
hier in
career.
Berlin bei
What
der
does the prize
Berlinale?
in Berlin mean to you?
Awards over the last years. What do you think about the Golden Bear you're receiving tonight?
But the what?
The Golden Bear, the prize you get from the festival today.
I like all flattery. Anything that says you're a good guy and you did well, I agree. And I'm happy to get something from Berlin because I truly, honestly, like Berlin very much. I'm surprised. I'm surprised how much I like it, how much I enjoy it. And my wife rides around with me and explains everything to me, and she likes it too. So we're well off here. Does that answer your question? No. Anyway, next.
In this difficult period of the McCarthy Commission, we were not obliged to collaborate with the McCarthy Commission.
Yes, again asking about your collaboration with the McCarthy.
No, but what is the question? Was he obliged to?
I know the question. I know it's the same question over and over again. I agreed with certain things that they felt. I didn't agree with their methods. I have no problem with it myself. That's the answer. What else?
Soweit ich richtig liege, sind Sie über den russischen Regisseur Anatol Litvak zum Film gekommen. Hat er Ihre Arbeit beeinflusst? Er war ein großer Stilist, hat aber auch realistische Filme gedreht, wie Decision Before Dawn.
A realist, he made a decision before dawn. I wonder what his influence was on you.
Anatol Litvak,
What influence he had on your work?
was a Hollywood director, and he was very happy in Hollywood. He had money, and he had a lot of women, and he had a beautiful house. And what more could he want? I don't think he had anything as good in wherever he was. I don't think he's even Russian. He's German, isn't he? Here's to you all. Good luck.
Mr. Kazan.
Yes.
Okay. Filmgoers have had a fascination with Marlon Brando for decades and decades, and it still continues today. What I'd love if you can give us some insight on your experiences of the Marlon Brando you knew back then, and also if there's something that you can do now that you haven't done, is you have a desire to do something you haven't done before.
It's hard to get that down to one question. Could you put it in a form of a question? What's your question?
The first part of the question is, we have been fascinated
Microphone.
by Marlon
What is what?
Microphone, please.
What?
Microphone.
Marlon Brando, he wants
Now,
you
wait
to
a moment,
give some
the translators.
insight about Marlon Brando when you worked with
Make
him.
it as short as possible, your question.
That's
We've
easy.
been fascinated by Marlon Brando for years and years and years, including today.
We worked together very well. I was very happy with him. He agreed with me, which always makes me happy. And
But about
we had a good time. And that was at the first couple of films I did with him. He was wonderful. And later he became less interested in the projects we had together. And I don't think he was anything but good. He was still a good fellow, but he was doing his best. He also wanted to be a director and so on, and which I encouraged. I encouraged him to be a director, and finally he did direct a couple of movies.
Mm-hmm.
What else, gentlemen and ladies?
Behind. Right behind, and then... No, behind.
Yes?
No. Moment.
In the last row, yes.
Mr. Kazan, can you tell us something about your new life as a writer, and what made you take that decision of quitting the cinema scene as a filmmaker to go on the writing part?
I'm a little deaf, and the way you said that.
Why did you decide to become a novelist and leave the
Oh,
film field?
what did I do? I always admired writers more than anybody else. My best friends were writers all the time. I had very close friends that were writers, John Steinbeck and Bud Schulberg and so forth. Tennessee Williams was my best friend for many years, and they were close friends. So we worked together, and I envied them. And I began to write on their scripts to improve them. That sounds arrogant and terrible, but I did improve some of the scripts.
Baby Doll.
Baby Doll. The script you'll see, the thing you'll see tonight, we made up. It's like the work in the actor's studio is half improvised. There's a whole middle part of it that's sheer improvisation, and only the beginning and the end. I'll tell you another secret. You want to know an unpleasant secret? Tennessee Williams didn't like Baby Doll very much. He got to like it later, but he wasn't crazy about it. So he thought it was good, but not excellent. Not up to him, and there you are. That's all right. He has a right.
But why did you decide to go into writing novels?
Well, I tell you, the thing about why did I decide to write novels was because I'm an Anatolian. I'm from Anatolia. and I found out that nobody told the story of my people. Nobody knew it except me. I knew about it. I knew about my family and about my friends there, my family friends, the history of my family. I knew all about it. I was very interested in it, and I stayed with it. And that's why I started. And then I wrote America, America from that, you see? But it came from a passion about my family. Do you understand? That's a good answer, isn't it?
And then about yourself. And then about yourself, the arrangement. And
Oh, and then I began to write about myself, about my love life. I mean, my wives and my children. And I found that it was interesting what I wrote. Yes.
Oui, je pose la question en français.
I'm going to ask this
Quand
question
j'ai vu
in French.
America,
I saw America,
je sais que
America,
vous êtes anatolien et
and realized that you were Anatolian.
Kurde, mais
I
après,
must say,
quand j'ai
originally I
vu
thought that you were
America,
Kurdish, but when I saw
j'ai cru que
America,
vous étiez
America,
d'origine arménienne, mais j'ai lu
I
dans
thought that you were
dictionnaire que
Armenian.
vous
I was a
êtes
bit
d'origine
confused,
grecque.
but then I read somewhere else that you were Greek, so perhaps you can explain to me where you really do come from. That's my first question, because I'm a bit confused.
She thought first that you were Turkish, and then she saw America, America. She thought you were Armenian, and then she read in a book that you were Greek, so she wants to know who you are.
Good question. Very good. I'm none of them. What I am is, I'm from Anatolia. I am a Greek who lives in Turkey, who was brought up in Turkey. And I love the Turkish people, and I love the Greek people. I love them both. I'm close to them. The first language I could speak was Greek at home. On the street, I spoke Turkish like my parents did. You understand? And now I speak Turkish now. I speak Turkish very well, and my wife speaks Turkish too. Everybody in my family is interested in Turkey. Me too. Is that the answer?
Okay, your
Oui.
second question.
Alors la deuxième question est aussi
Then I
liée
have
à
a
ça.
second question
Comment
as
ça
well.
s'est passé votre rencontre avec Yılmaz Güney? Parce que j'ai vu une fois un
Can you-
documentaire
Avec
qui
qui?
montre Yılmaz Güney.
How was your
Yılmaz
meeting
Güney.
with
Tell us about your meeting with
Güney?
Gülmaz
Güney
Güney.
used to come to Paris.
What was your meeting like? I saw a
Not to
documentary
here.
on
He came
that.
to Paris several times, not many times. I think 3 times to sit with me and talk about what his future and his past and so forth. We had the most warm-hearted, cordial meetings. Yılmaz Güney.
Question to the right now.
Monsieur Kazan, 2 questions, s'il vous plaît.
I have
D'abord,
2 questions.
apparemment, vous n'aimez pas beaucoup le
First
cinéma
of all,
d'aujourd'hui.
apparently you
Est-ce que cela
don't
tient
like
aussi au fait
contemporary
que
cinema very much.
les metteurs en scène sont de
Is
moins
that
en moins
perhaps because
aussi des comédiens? On sait que
directors
vous avez joué
are
aussi.
less involved as
Et que c'est
actors? We know that you were an
important
actor as well. Was that
réalisateur
perhaps
et
important that
un
you were
acteur en même temps?
both a director and an
Ça, c'est la première
actor at the same time? That was
Yes.
my first question.
It seems that you don't like very much the films of today. Is it because the directors are not also actors, the way you were a director and also an actor?
I don't know. I like some of the films, but I wasn't crazy about the ones that everybody else likes so much. But I think that maybe just I have a narrower view of everything. I like my own films. I like them
No,
best.
but you like Kubrick and Woody Allen and people like that.
Who?
Kubrick and Woody Allen and.
I love Woody Allen. I like Kubrick. Kubrick's a great director, but I don't know. Is he working today?
Scorsese?
Scorsese's my friend. He's a very wonderful man. He's done a lot for other directors.
Spielberg.
Spielberg is a wonderful man. too.
Spielberg.
Spielberg is a wonderful man. The films you'll see here that you have seen already and will see more of have been prepared by Martin Scorsese. He gave orders that they be put in good shape and that they
Restored. You restored them.
He restored them and he also paid for sending them here. He paid for everything. And I think he makes a lot more money than I do. I don't make much money. But he does well, and he was very generous and warm-hearted. He's a marvelous man. Did you know that? Yeah.
Another question? No, well, there
Justement,
was
à
so
propos
many
de
questions
Scorsese,
behind. He's one, so
vous avez annoncé plusieurs fois
about Scorsese.
pendant les dernières années des projets qui sont, je crois, hélas, tombés à l'eau.
You've recently
On
mentioned
vient de
over
voir
the past few
malgré
years
tout
projects which
Antonioni
haven't
réaliser un
worked
film avec
out.
l'aide de Van Dess.
Antonioni
Justement, vous ne
has
pouvez
just
pas
made a
compter sur
film
l'aide
with
de
Wim
quelqu'un.
Wenders.
C'est
Couldn't you
difficile, je
perhaps
crois, de réaliser un
work
film
with somebody? I mean, it is
à
hard, of
votre
course,
âge.
to
On sait que
direct
vous
a film at your age. It's hard
l'argent,
work, you
les
know.
assurances,
It's
etc.
difficult with
C'est
money
difficile de
and
parler de ça.
insurance and everything. But I wonder what you think about cooperating with someone else.
To make a film. Do you think of doing one film like Antonioni just did, a film with the help of vendors or to find the money?
Who, about myself? I'm too old now to make a film. To direct a film, you need the energy of a wild animal. You need to be a ferocious energy. Don't have that now. Maybe I will have on a subject, but at the moment I don't have it. I have energy enough to write a book. I'm working on another book now. I like to write books. They're quiet, and I live in the country and so forth. But will I make another film? I doubt it. Is that the answer? I'd like to, but I'm older. I'm 86 years old. That's enough.
Again, a question on the last row.
Where's the question?
Monsieur Kazan, maintenant, quand le champ du socialisme est détruit presque complètement,
Socialism has virtually crumbled everywhere. Can you tell us what you think about communism? Do you continue to believe somehow in communism, or is it some kind of an illusion? What do you think now?
Now that communism is almost destroyed, what do you think about communism now? Do you think it's an illusion, or is it something that you can believe in?
I believe in democracy. I think America has to make itself better, etc. That's banal, but that's what I believe in. I believe America is having another election. I don't like any of the candidates now. I think they have to put up better people. I don't like any of the Democrats, the Republicans. In fact, I dislike them. But still, there they are. They're my fellow Americans, and some of them are my friends, and we will do better. That's what I feel. That's the old black song used to be, we will do better, and we will. Yes? Any more questions?
Κύριε Καζάν, καλησπέρα. Είμαι Έλληνας. Με ακούτε? Κύριε Καζάν.
Çokim.
Έλληνας.
Sen nasılsın?
Είμαι καλά. Να σας ρωτήσω στα γερμανικά. Wie fühlen sich, Sie haben gesagt, Sie lieben... Ja, was.
Put it in English, please. I got to get help from these two fellows here.
Sie lieben die Griechen. Lieben Sie auch Griechenland und was tun Sie heute für Griechenland?
Greece as well. What do you do for Greece now?
You love Greece and what you are doing for Greece today.
What am I doing for Greece today? Nothing. They're in a bad way in Greece. They have to help themselves. I don't believe in a lot of help and all that, but I think people have to fight to help themselves. The Turkish people are the same way. They have a lot of problems in Turkey, a lot of problems. They have three parties voting and so forth, and they lack money and so forth. They'll do it, but it just takes time, and can't go faster than you go. Greece, I don't know. I haven't been in Greece for a while. I haven't been there in 2 or 3 years. Yes.
I have two questions. Number one, what advice of yours made James Dean best use of? And number two, if a young, talented boy asks you, how can I become a great film actor, what would be your advice to him?
To become a great actor? Is that what you asked?
Yes, if a young man would say, I want to become a good actor, what kind of advice would you give me?
He should become a student of acting. He should connect with the people that teach acting, and there's some good teachers. I don't know if they're here now, but in the United States, there are still some good acting teachers. They can help him. But above all, he's got to work himself to make himself ready for it. In other words, raise his enthusiasms and the things he wishes to do. And so on. I would suggest he goes to the United States. I don't know what acting teachers they have here. Maybe they have wonderful teachers here, I don't know.
Mr. Kazan, I've got two questions. first of all, what are you working on now? What is the subject of your book?
What am I working on?
The subject of your new book.
Well, it's none of your business. I don't mean it's about it's a family subject.
Okay. And the second one is, what would you change about America?
What would you change about America that you don't like?
Get more money from filmmakers. I think it's very bad, the amount of money that they don't give filmmakers. I think films are the basic language today, and I think they ought to help filmmakers make more films. Very important language. Yeah?
Question to the right over there.
Yes.
Mr. Kazan.
Where are you?
Here I am.
Right, at the end of the room.
Yes, sir.
Waving. You were a close friend to Arthur Miller once. Then you had a fallout. In your autobiography and in Arthur Miller's, it seems there is a lot of things that have been lost all the way. What about today, your relationship to Arthur Miller?
Did you understand?
You were very close to Arthur Miller, then there was a fall down, and now what is your relationship to Arthur Miller?
Oh, we have a good relationship. Not great, not like it used to be. I don't have any relationship that exists now as it did in the 50s. But when Miller and I greet each other, we shake hands warmly, and every once in a while I see him. We had dinner together not so long ago. I like Arthur. And I don't know if he likes me or not, doesn't make any difference. I don't hope everybody likes me. It's enough. I would say I think Arthur has done some wonderful things. I think he wrote some scripts that are very fine, some plays, I mean, and I respect him. Does that answer your question?
No, there's the next question.
Yes and no. I refer to your autobiography about writing on the waterfront. Mr. Miller has some different opinions about who wrote it and who was responsible for it and so on.
He's asking about on the waterfront, who wrote the script. Did Arthur Miller do anything in the script?
No, Arthur Miller had nothing to do with On the Waterfront. That's Bud Schulberg. It's an entirely different man. I don't know what Arthur Miller even thought of it. He's never said anything. Yes.
Okay, next one. Over there.
Herr Kazan, wir wissen, dass Sie vor einigen Jahren einen Film drehen konnten, aber es hat Ihnen nicht gelungen.
Years ago you wanted to make a film but didn't work out. If you still were to have time and energy and money, then what kind of topic would you be interested in for another film now?
What would be the theme?
I'm not going to make any more films. For the moment, I'm, as I say, to make a film, you need the energy of a wild animal. I don't have that anymore. I'm very strong, but I'm an 86-year-old man. I don't want to make any more films. I want to write books. That's why I started writing books.
Again, a question to the right.
Somebody here.
Mr. Kazan, it's here. You are adored by so many actors who admired you as director and as teacher. What did you learn from actors?
What did I learn from acting? Not to be afraid.
From actors.
From
What did you learn
actors?
from actors?
Oh, I don't know. Much affection. I don't know. It's like children. What do you learn from your children? I don't know. I learned nothing and everything. What can I say about that? I really like actors very much, and I'm very close to many actors. Tonight, you'll see two actors that I'm very close to, Carl Malden and Eli Wallach. They're like my brothers. They love everybody. They love my wife very much. But I don't know how much I learned from them. The whole thing about learning is something that goes with critics, not with me. I didn't learn from any actors. Can't answer the question better than that. Any more questions?
Yeah, just waiting for the mic.
Yes. You keep raising your hand.
Yeah, Mr. Kazan, if you weren't old, there is today a particular subject you like to direct in a film? Excuse me if I insist. Yeah, but it's a little different.
But it's already asked.
If you, Mr. Kazan, weren't old.
It's again the same question. If you were a younger man, what kind of subject would you like to film?
If I were a younger man, my God, what would I do if I were a younger man? If you ever hear there's a whole making fun of questions that start with the word if. So if nothing, I wish I was younger, but I wouldn't do any, I don't know what I'd do. You want me younger? I'd be better looking if I were younger, that's all.
Yeah, Mr. Kazan,
where are you? Raise your hand. I don't know who you're.
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Well, it's a cliche to say that, okay, before everything was better and the films were better, but now seeing your films again, it seems that behind every cliche there's a truth. But when looking back at the films of the 50s, they are so good to me, and it's not nostalgia. Were there some structural reasons for making them so good in Hollywood, or was it just having so much talent around?
Looking back to the films of the 50s, were there some structural reasons that they are so good in our opinion today, or what do you think about
Well, I'll answer your question. I can't answer your question, but I'll try. The thing that makes the film good is the passion of the filmmaker. He makes a film that has a theme. It has a reason he makes it. The reason he makes it is the reason he makes it. And he tries to make the film so that people who see it will understand something about him. That exists, it seems to me, less and less than it used to. The whole question of theme in filmmaking now is diminished. And I don't see it now. Not to entertain people, not to sell the script, not to be nice, but to make a film that speaks for me. Speaks for me. That's the thing. And that used to exist, and I don't think it does now. At least I don't see it.
You've made mention about Eli Wallach and Carl Malden being like your brothers, yet they are still acting, and I'm curious if they've ever called you for advice, to advise on a script, to get your opinion on a movie, or any other actor that you're still in touch with.
What do you say?
Eli Wallach and Carl Malden are some like brothers to you. Do they phone you, ask for your opinion about films today and what they're
About
doing?
scripts, about the scripts they are.
No, I don't ask their opinion about it.
They ask you.
Do they ask you advice on what they are going to do?
But they can't get it. I don't give advice quickly or easily. I would say, I think it's good, or let's do this. Or I say a few things, but I don't say much.
Why is that?
Because I don't want to. I say what I want to say, and that's it. They don't. Eli Wallach has very good ideas about script, and so Carl Malden, less mental. He's more of a passionate Serb. So he says what he says, and I praise him. But I tell you what, the fact my affection for him has nothing to do with maybe I can get advice from them. I get no advice from them.
Getting advice from you.
Hello?
Are they getting advice from you?
Do they? They ask me occasionally, yes. I give them what advice I can. I have to when I direct them. When I used to direct them, I don't direct anymore, but I used to give them advice. Yes. Anybody?
Again to the very right.
I have
What?
a question about two of your films.
Where's somebody? I can't tell who's
Here's
talking.
somebody.
Oh, yes.
I have a question about two of your films, Wild River and People of the Cumberland. They are both about progress, they are both about electricity, both about a dam. What is your opinion about progress now in retrospect?
Good question. When I first started, I was just a fellow, was a young fellow interested in social problems. And I made a film called People of the Cumberlands, which is not even a film really. But I made that film. I shot a lot of film. But it was not it had no structure, and it didn't last as a document or something that said something. People of the Cumberlands was also directed by a fellow, my friend of mine, named
Ralph Steiner. Ralph Steiner.
It was directed by Ralph Steiner, and he and I were close friends. You see how much he knows about my films? I don't know that much. What else?
A second part of
And the
question
Wild River.
about
Wild River.
Wild River.
Beautiful film.
Wild River is my favorite film. For better or worse,
No.
it's the film I like best. And I think one thing that helped Wild River was that I had made People of the Cumberlands. And being down there a lot, being close to those people in Tennessee and so forth, helped a lot. I'm not talking about the writer, I'm talking about the state. And Wild River, I think, is a beautiful film. I like it very much. It has a wonderful performance by Joe Van Fleet. It has a wonderful performance by everybody. It's a beautifully directed, beautifully acted film. So I'm proud of that film.
Mr. Kazan, there is a scene in East of Eden where James Dean bows down to growing beans. And he does it in a way that I remember it after 30 years.
Sure, it's a beautiful scene. The director did a very good job there.
Yes, exactly. That is my question. How did you direct him so that you got what
Nothing.
he did?
He was as crazy as I am. So one day we were driving along, and I saw this field of bean plants, and I said, "Go running through that plant." And he said, "Okay," and he did it. That's it.
Mr.
Really,
Kazan,
truly, that's all there was to it. Inspiration. What do you say? You say impulse. Impulse. I love it. Okay, impulse. I love it too. Next.
Mr. Kazan, is there anything that in your life that you would have done differently? Do you have any regrets?
Do I have any what?
Regrets.
Is there things in your life you would do differently if you could?
Oh, yes, but it's none of your business. That. Read my autobiography.
Over there.
No more. Okay? Should we stop?
Ja?
He's already asked 3 questions.
Was haben Sie Gefühl oder gedacht, als jetzt nochmal
did
in
you
Mexiko diese
feel
zapatistische
or
Bewegung
think in,
nochmal ausbrach
Mexico
in Mexiko,
when the Zapata
wo Sie
movement
diese Film Viva
broke out
Zapata
again? You
damals
made the
gemacht
film
haben?
Viva Zapata. What did you feel when they were active again in Mexico, the Zapatans?
Which is now in the country.
I was disappointed that I couldn't make that film in Mexico. I went down to Morelos, the state of Morelos, and I went there and I stayed there many weeks trying to get the whole of the country. And I couldn't get them to put the money up. They didn't like my picture, so they said. But they made a picture later about Zapata that I understand was awful. And
What do you think of Mexico today and the new anti-Semitism?
I don't know. I can't give you any answers. I don't study Mexican daily life or political life. I don't know what they're doing now. Yes?
Yes. In your autobiography, you mention about some of your first films, like A Tree Grows in Brooklyn and The Gentleman's Agreement, that you didn't know much about the cinema and you learned afterwards. But looking at these today, they seem to be very good films. So what did happen? I mean, did the producers and the editors intervene and make them look good? Or after all, was it you that managed to make them look so good?
Say what?
In your autobiography, you mentioned Gentleman's Agreement, for example, and A Tree in Brooklyn. You said you didn't know so much about cinema at that time. What do you think about the films when you look at them today?
He thinks they are good when you look at them. So what made them good? Was it the collaboration, the producer, or the cameraman, or who helped you?
When the theme,
when you started to make,
me?
No, when you started to make films, who helped you to make? Because you didn't know anything about cinema.
No, but
Who
did the
helped you to
producers
make
make
these
your
films?
films
Because they
good,
look
or-
good now.
I had already made
suppression.
films. I had made People of the Cumberlands. I made films, inexpensive films all over. Hello? Morris, what are you saying?
I was saying the real question was, did the producers force you to make good films, or is it you? That was the way it was kind of...
No, Morris, nobody
joking.
forced me to do anything.
That was his question.
I'm not a man you can force. Even money doesn't force me. Yes,
Mr. Kazan, at the beginning of your career, what film directors gave you inspiration or influenced you in the development of your career?
my nationality.
The Russians.
The Russians? Oh, my God, yes.
Russian directors.
Yes, the Russian directors were a big influence on me. I admired them so much. At that time, they had made some wonderful films. I praise one of them very much, and you know it's in your book.
Vigo also. Jean Vigo, you like?
Yeah.
Jean Vigo, the French director.
No, I'm talking about the Russian
No, but
one.
also Vigo. You used Boris Kaufman.
Yes, he's related. But I praised the Russian director very much and got a lot from him, and I can't remember his name. That doesn't help.
Dovzhenko.
Dovzhenko. He was my. I admired him so much. Yes.
Are there any particular American film directors that gave you inspiration?
Ford.
Hmm?
Ford.
American directors? Well, I like Ford very much, yes. I talked with Ford a long time before I started making pictures. He was a grumpy old guy, like the movie you're going to see. He was a grumpy man, and but he talked to me for a while. Anyway, I do admire him. He has a lot of nerve. He has a lot of courage. I saw that film he did of John Steinbeck's book again the other day. I thought it was very good.
Over here.
Mr. Kazan, I'm from American Cinematographer magazine. And can you tell us some of your favorite directors of photography that you have worked with?
Favorite directors of photography you work with?
I'll answer your question truthfully. They were all my favorites. I liked them all. When I had an idea for what a film should say and what a film should be, I had no trouble with a cameraman. I spoke with him brother to brother. I said what I had in mind, and they were very obliging, understood very well. And I didn't like one better than the other. They were all good. Do you understand? Truthfully, I didn't have any pick. Now I know they make a big thing about which director of photography is better. I liked every damn one I ever worked with.
Coming back to your film America, America, I just would like to know, at the time when it came out, what was the reaction from the critique and also at the box office? How successful it was at the box office at the time? Thank you.
You want to know the reaction of the critics to? They were pathetic.
And what about the box office of the film?
I thought they were pathetic. They should have helped it, and they didn't. They should have recognized that it was one of the few original films dealing with a true ethnic subject, and they did nothing to help it. It opened, and nobody backed it up except me and a few friends. I haven't got a good word for most critics. He's the only critic I like.
No. There are some.
Mr. Kazan, here.
To the very right now.
Yes.
What is the difference between a good film and an excellent film? Can a film be immortal?
What kind between a group thing and a what?
And an excellent film? Can a film be immortal?
Can a film be immortal?
The passion of the maker. Listen, a film is essentially a matter of passion. You have to convey a passion that you feel towards the audience. When you're able to do that, that's an excellent film. When you're unable to do it, it's just a lot of footage.
May I suggest that we still accept 2 questions? You would understand that we don't want to.
You're not tiring me. What is it?
It's okay.
I got to ask this question.
I have some advice for you.
What's your advice,
Instead of
Doctor?
asking more questions, write a book.
I've got to ask this question. I don't know if you'll like it, but I'll ask it anyway.
Yeah,
Does age give you privileges?
I can't understand what he said.
Does age give you privileges?
Does age give me privileges? I don't know. Friends do. I mean, he's treated me very well here. I have a nice room, and we have good food. Thank you.
Is it really good?
I think you had a lot of nerve to do what you did.
We love you. We love to have you here.
He had a lot of nerve, I thought, to bring everybody together because here we are. He's not making money from it, as far as I know, are you?
No.
Of course. What else? Anything more?
One more question.
Last
Yes.
Yeah.
A very simple and fundamental question.
Mr. Kazan, do you believe a film can make a better world?
Can film make a better world?
Can a filmmaker make a better world?
Can do what?
A better world.
Yes. Can art make a better world? Yes. When I remember things from films, from novels, from poetry that made me, I think, a better man. Yes, I think art is very, very, very important. And I think that especially of films now, because as I said before, it's the language that we all share alike. We all share that language. People on the street share it. Where are you going? Okay.
So, thank you.